are joining you this week, a little bit late, but
better late than never.
Better late than never. We're here, and we have finished our book. I hope you feel accomplished. If you haven't finished it yet, that's okay. Just finish it when you can. It's been encouragement to us. First thing I want to say is those of you who have stopped us along the way or sent us messages to say how much you've enjoyed the book, and even had to adjust your lives to the teaching in it to some degree, as we have as well. So that's excellent. We're so thankful that you let us know.
So we're getting to these last few chapters of the book, and the last 3 and 4 in particular dealt with this area about following Jesus, the whenever, the wherever, the whenever, and the whatever. What about there? What about now? What about that? And that was the focus of this 14th chapter, was the idea of being a follower, doing whatever God would ask. And I'm always I've been reminded of the story. I think I read it somewhere else besides in this book, but he gives the example of this missionary, the biography of William Borden, who was a dairy. We're familiar with Borden Dairy. So he was part of that family, and he gave it all up to follow Jesus and to be a missionary. And he died at the age of 25. And yet his 3 phrases that he lived by were these: no reserves, no retreats, no regrets. He was willing to do whatever Jesus asked him to do. And ultimately he died trying to fulfill that purpose of not having any regrets, no reserves, no retreats, no regrets. Even though he was an heir to a fortune, he gave it all up just to follow Jesus.
He sure did. There was some hard teaching in that chapter, I felt. The disordered loves, the making sure that Jesus is your first love and not holding back from his invitation to follow because of another person, or another, maybe a career or a life that you have to walk away from. And yet the value of that, I think, was highly underscored. And we know for sure that is true. And then in the last chapter, which was kind of an addendum to the first copy of the book, talking about how we could get confused with being focusing on being a follower means this is about what I do. And it's about what I accomplished, and it's what I offer to God. And what the author was like, no, don't go there. It's really about identity. And you'll remember that he talked about the name tags. Hello, my name is. And, I've seen that before, and I've even probably had to do that at a retreat or something. But I was really struck with the portion about a funeral or a memorial service and how I would be described. And I wonder if you were too, and just thought, wow, would they say, it was about being a mom, being a wife, being a pastor's wife? Was it about all of these things or these accomplishments? Or was it about just a real true commitment to love Jesus, that was the main thrust of the life? And I feel motivated to make sure now that is for sure what's seen coming out of my life.
Well, as Angela said, you've finished reading this book. And hopefully this book has been an encouragement to you. That's been our desire through this. And we're through with this right now. So this is our last video in this portion of this kind of study of this book. But so after we're done here, you're going to see some more things to do this week. Basically, with this being Thanksgiving week on Thursday, we're going to focus on gratitude and just have a number of passages that deal with giving thanks and all the things that we could be thankful for. And we don't want you to miss that. Make sure you are noting the things that you can thank God for. You often talk about having your thankful journal where you write things down. And I think, as we say, being thankful is not just about one day in the year. It's about a lifetime of how we're grateful each and every day. So that'll be our focus for this week. And then next week, our next video will kick off
Advent, the most wonderful time of the year. Some of you may not know much about Advent. Others of you, I understand there's a little bit of a history here at church of lighting the candles every week and having a passage read. But we're going to dive even deeper and make it more of a daily practice for the 4 weeks leading up to Christmas.
Yeah, and so the plan is to give you things to read each and every day, talking about that thought for the week, The messages on Sunday will be tied into Advent, and those 4 or 5, we have 5 words actually that we're going to talk about, the 4 of Advent, and then we're going to add 1 for Christmas Eve. But again, just to really, my title for the messages is just this idea of preparing for Christmas. Man,
let every heart prepare him room.
Let every heart prepare him room. Yeah. And I think so many times we get ready for so many things, and yet this is one of the most important holidays that we celebrate, and we need to prepare and be ready.
And you don't want to
it.
be just getting ready at the mall or at the grocery store.
Yeah.
There's that.
Yeah.
But there's so much more that could really enhance and, as I said on Sunday, bring the sacred part of this season to the forefront.
Yeah. So that will be our next moving forward, what we'll do from there. And then, yeah, that we'll see where we go. We have some other thoughts too for going forward. But thank you for joining us for these videos. Hopefully they've been helpful. And as Angela said at the beginning, we appreciate comments that you've given, feedback, just little notes that you're enjoying these. And we're praying that we would continue to grow together. We want to be followers of Jesus. We want to know him well. And as we come into this Christmas season, we want to really focus our attention on him and what he's done for us, and look forward not only to the birth of Jesus, but also the return of Jesus as well.
First and the second Advent.
First and second
Absolutely.
Advent.
In the meantime, we wish you a wonderful, happy Thanksgiving this week. And we know that some of you will be surrounded with family, or maybe it will be friends, or maybe there's some of you who might be lonely. And to you, I say there is a sacrifice of Thanksgiving. And sometimes that's what Thanksgiving looks like. It can be a little sad and a little lonely, but the Lord is with you. Your church family love you. Reach out.
So thanks, and we will see you again next week. Have a great week.